So good afternoon students. Today you know that it is the maths period, and in this period we are going to discuss about the topic quadratic equation. Okay, so first now here you can see I had written a thought on maths. What is maths? Maths is the most beautiful and powerful creation of human spirit. So we don't have to think that maths is too difficult or we can't solve few things. Yes, maths is very easy students. Okay. So now before going to the quadratic equation, first let's understand what is an equation. Okay, and before equation I would like to show you something, that now if I write here 7 plus 3, so is it an equation students? No, it is not an equation because it is a numerical expression. Why numerical expression? Because numbers are involved in it, and with the number the mathematical operation, that is the addition sign, is there. So it is called as numerical expression. Okay, you can take here addition sign also, we can take here subtraction sign also. Okay, so these both are what? These both are numerical expression. Okay, but when instead of number you take here any variable, suppose say m, and if I write it like this, m plus 3, then is it a numerical expression? No, it is not a numerical expression, because if you see here along with a number a variable is involved. So this is called as a algebraic expression. So is it necessary to always write m, x, y? Children, from A to Z you can take any variable, you can assign any variable, because this value is always unknown and you have to find out that. Okay, but now what is an equation? Our point was, what is equation? Okay, before going to quadratic equation, first we have to understand what is equation. So as I told you, this is numerical expression, this is algebraic expression. So what is equation? So students, when we write 7 plus 3 is equal to 10. Now if you see here, can we say that this is an expression? No, this is not an expression, this is an equation. What is an equation? An equation is a mathematical expression in which the two sides, that is left hand side and right hand side, is separated by is equal to sign. So now have you understood about the equation, that in equation we have one LHS side, one RHS side, which is separated by a, yes, which is separated by a is equal to sign. Okay, now how to write an equation? Now suppose an example is there, 4 less than a number is 12. 4 less than a number is 12. Now how can we present this information in equation form? So as the number, this number we don't know, and you know less means minus. So how it can be represented in the form of an equation? So as I told you, you can take any variable from A to Z. Suppose we take y. Now 4 less than a number, we don't know this number, so we assign the value as y. Since it is less, as we know, it is the minus sign, and it is less than 4, which gives you 12. So is it an equation students? Is it an equation? Is it a numerical expression? Is it an algebraic expression? What it is? Yes, it is a equation. Why? Because here we have LHS side, that is left hand side, and here we have right hand side, which is separated by equal sign. So this is an equation. Okay. Now let's take another example. But before that, let's first understand what are the different parts of the equation. For this, again we'll take one more example, that is 3 added to a number gives us 10. 3 added to a number. 3 added to a number gives 10. Now as I said you can take any variable from A to Z, because here we don't know this number. This is unknown to us, so we'll assign a variable to it, suppose Z. Okay. Now 3 added. Added means we'll take addition sign. To 3 gives you 10. Again one more question. Is it an equation? Yes, it is an equation because it has, yes, left hand side and right hand side, and it is separated by equal to sign. Okay. So now further we are going, that is, now we have to understand what are the different parts of the equation. Now as I told you, this is variable, 3 and 10 are constants, and there are 4 operations in maths, you know that, that is the addition, subtraction, division and multiplication. So this is the operator or operation, which is addition. So we got the different parts of the equation, that is the variable which is unknown, constants, that is the numbers, and the operation. Okay. Now here again one thing you have to remember, students, when it is an equation, when it has 2 sides, that is LHS and RHS, okay, which is separated by equal to sign. Now as I gave you the example of this question, that 3 added to a number gives 10. Okay, so when we are representing it in the form of equation, it gives us, as I told you, suppose Z plus 3 is equal to 10. So such type of bigger problems can be written in a shorter way with the help of equation. So you have seen how equation is very much beneficial to us. Now there are different types of equations. As I told you earlier, we are going to study the topic quadratic equation, but first we need to study the equation. Then in equation, how many equations are there? Now if you see here, there is a linear equation. Now what is linear equation? Linear equation. Linear equations are such equations which can be presented in the standard form or general form. Standard form ax plus b. Since it is an equation, so it will have left hand side also and right hand side also. So linear equations can be presented in the general form or standard form, that is ax plus b is equal to 0. Again here we have LHS, we have RHS, and both the sides are separated by equal to sign. Now again here there is a condition, students, that if this is the standard form for linear equation, the condition is that a should not be equal to 0. Okay. So now let's try some example. Now as you see, the first example is x plus 5 is equal to 0. So if you see here the power, why it is called as a linear equation, though it is presented in this standard form, but if you see its higher power of the variable is 1. Okay, so is it a linear equation? Yes, it is a linear equation. Why? Because its power is 1. Now if we compare this with this standard equation, here we get the value of a as, when nothing is there with x here, that means who is there? 1. Okay, and what is the value of b? That is constant, it is 5. Okay, so you have to compare this with this standard form. Now let us go for the second example. If you see the second example, it is 3y plus 15 is equal to 0. Now again we will compare this with the standard form, that is the linear equation. So we get the value of a as 3, the value of b as 15. Okay, so now I hope you will be able to solve the third one. So quickly you have to solve and you have to tell me the value of a and b. 6x minus 12 is equal to 0. So what is the value of a? Yes? 6. Yes, the value of a is 6. Now what will be the value of b?
Minus 12.
Yes, the value of b will be minus 12. So I hope now you have understood the topic linear equation. Now let's go further. The main topic which we have to study today is the quadratic equation. Now students, as we have revised equations, then linear equation, have you got some idea what will be the quadratic equation? Yes. As we have seen for linear equation, ax plus b is equal to 0. So we can say that equations which can be presented in a standard form are called as quadratic equation. Now what is that standard form? Standard form of quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a is not equal to 0 and a, b and c are real numbers. Why it is a quadratic equation? If you see here, its highest power is, its highest power is 2. Okay. Now for linear equation, the highest power was 1, and for quadratic equation, the higher power should be 2. Now students, one thing I would like to discuss with you here, that if I write it like this, ax square plus bx plus c. So can we say that it is a quadratic equation?
No.
Yes. Is it a quadratic equation? Why no? Because here is equal to sign is not involved and we are not getting LHS and RHS. Then what is this form of? This is called as quadratic polynomials. So just understand the difference between the quadratic equation and quadratic polynomial. Quadratic polynomial is also represented in this standard form as ax square plus bx plus c. But the difference is that in the quadratic equation we have LHS and RHS, which is separated by this is equal to sign. Okay. So now I hope you have understood what is the meaning of the quadratic equation. Quadratic equations are such equations which can be presented in the standard form, that is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where the condition is a should not be equal to 0 and a, b, c are constants or real numbers. Now let's compare or solve some examples of quadratic equation. Now let's compare some examples with this standard form. If we take the first example as 2x square plus 4x plus 2 is equal to 0. As we already revised it for linear equation, here what will be the value of 2? A. The value of A will be 2. The value of B will be 4 and the value of C will be 2. We have already done it for the linear equation. Now we are doing it for quadratic equation and we are comparing this expression with this standard form. So if you see, the value of A is 2, the value of B is 4 and the value of C is 2. Now let's take another example. So it is y square plus 5y plus 6 is equal to 0. So now can anyone tell me what will be the value of A? Because if you see here with y square, when nothing is there means what is there? 1. Correct. So the value of A will be 1. The value of B will be 5 and the value of C will be 6. Okay. Now let's go for the third example. Now students, if you have seen here we have 3 terms, 1, 2 and 3. Okay. But can we say that this equation is a quadratic equation? Can we say that? Just see, is it a quadratic equation because the middle term is not there? Yes, it is a quadratic equation because if you see, its highest power is 2. So this equation is a quadratic equation. Now let's compare this with the standard form. So if you see, the value of A you will get 3, okay, but no value of x is there. So we have to take the value of B as 0, okay, and the value of C will be 12. So isn't it easy, students? Okay, only you have to remember this standard form. Plus you have to understand that what is the difference between the quadratic equation and quadratic polynomial. When it is separated by is equal to sign, then we can say that it is a quadratic equation when we get LHS and RHS. Okay. Now there are different ways of solving this quadratic equations. What are those four ways? There are 4 ways of solving the quadratic equation depending upon the what type of quadratic equation it is. The first one is the factorization method. By factorizing. Second, by square roots. Third, by completing squares. And fourth, by quadratic formula. So as I told you earlier students, quadratic equations are solved depending upon the type of quadratic equation it is, and it involves 4 ways for solving it. One is the factorization method, second is by square roots, third is by completing the square, and fourth by quadratic formula. So in this period we are going to see the first one, that is factorization. How to solve a quadratic equation with the help of factorization method. Now I have one question for you before going to the factorization method. Can quadratic equations be applied into the real life? Yes, it can be involved in the real life application also. How, that I will show you now. Now if you see, you have been asked here one question that if you are asked to build a rectangular field with area 7000 meters square and length is 30 meter more than its breadth, so how can you do this? So suppose now this is the condition which is being given to you, that there is a rectangular field. Okay, suppose this is a rectangular field, its area is 700 meters square. Length, breadth, area you have already studied in your previous classes. So this area is how much? This is 7000 meter square. Okay, now its breadth is, suppose it is, they have asked that the length is 30 times more than its breadth. So if we take this as x and this as x plus 30, so this is your breadth or width and this is your length. Okay, so you know the formula for area of rectangle. How to find out the area of a rectangle? That is length into breadth. Now we will just substitute these values in this. I have taken here x. As I told you earlier also, from a to z you can assign any variable. It is not always compulsory to take x only. Okay. So if you see the area of rectangle, they have already given us, that is 7000 is equal to length. Length is what? X plus 30, and breadth is what? It is x. Yes. Now we will just solve it since it is the bracket. So we have to solve the bracket. You know how to solve the bracket. First multiply this x by x. It will give you x square. Then put the plus sign as it is. X multiplied by 30 gives you 30x. And this is 7000. Now we want to make it as an equation, that is the quadratic equation. So how it can be done? So students, you must be knowing that what is the difference between interchanging and what is the difference between transposing. Interchanging is what? Just keeping a thing from one place to another place. That is called as interchanging. And while doing the interchanging, no signs are changed. Suppose here it is in plus sign, so there also it will be in plus sign only. Okay. But when you are doing the transposing, okay, now if I write x plus 30x is equal to 7000. So here I had done interchanging. You can see here, okay, 7000 was in addition, so 7000 addition. Here also no signs are changed. But now I want to take this 7000 on LHS side. So what will happen, and what this process is called as? Yes, here we have done interchanging. Okay. And now we are taking this 7000 on this LHS. So x square plus 30x minus 7000 is equal to 0. Now just tell me one thing students, Is it a quadratic equation? Yes, it is a quadratic equation. Why? Because LHS and RHS is separated by equal to sign. And why it is a quadratic equation only? Because its highest power is 2. So, can we say that in real life application also we can apply quadratic equations? So, here you can see the field, okay, you can see the width, that is the breadth and length. So, now I have explained you how it can be applied in the real life, okay, how you can form the equations. But now how to solve the equations, that we are going to study. Now, suppose the equation is being given to you, that is x square plus 7x plus 12 is equal to 0. Okay, right now, just now I had taught you that how we have formed this quadratic equation, isn't it? Now, how to solve such type of equations by factorization method we are going to study. So, students, for solving this quadratic equation, first what you have to do, first you have to see the middle term. Now, middle term is what is there? 7 is there. Now, if you see here the value is 12. Students, what you have to do is you have to find out such factors of 12 whose addition or subtraction should be the middle term. Now, if we take out, it will be 3 4s are 12 if you see. Okay. So, this can be written as x square plus bracket 3 plus 4 x plus 12 is equal to 0. We have found out the such factors of 12, that is 3 plus 4 gives you plus 7. Okay. So, every time you have to find out such factors only for the given number. So, now this is called as splitting. What we have done? We have splitted here 7, that is 3 plus 4. But when you multiply 3 by 4, it gives you 12. Okay. Now, let's just expand it. As you know, when x multiplied by 3 is, it is 3x, multiplied by 4 is 4x, and 3x plus 4x gives you 7x. So, here if you see, it is x square plus 3x plus 4x plus 12 is equal to 0. Now, what this is said as? This is said as expanding. What we have done in this step? See, first we have found out such factors of 7 whose addition or subtraction is 7. Factors of 12, that is 3 plus 4. So, here we have done splitting in this step. In the second step, what we have done? We have multiplied this x by 3, that is 3x, then by 4, that is 4x, and 3x plus 4x gives you 7x only. So, this step is said as expanding. Now, next is grouping. How it can be grouped? So, x square plus 3x plus 4x plus 12 is equal to 0. Okay. Now, if you see, this is called as grouping. We have made how many groups? 1 and 2. So, we have made 2 groups. Now, we will just find out what common things comes out. Okay. If you see here, what will come out here common? X. Then what remained in the bracket? X plus 3. Now, this plus sign will be as it is. Now, if you see in the table of 4, when the 12 comes, it comes by 3s. So, what will come out? 4. So, what remained here? X. X plus 3 is equal to 0. Now, if you see, both the brackets are same. So, that means we are doing correct. So, this can be written as x plus 3 or x plus 4 is equal to 0. Okay. So, x square plus 7x plus 12 is equal to x plus 3 and x plus 4. So, the quadratic equation has the factors as x plus 3 and x plus 4. When you will multiply this bracket by this bracket, you will get this quadratic equation. Okay. Now, the next is how to find the roots of the quadratic equation. How to find the root of this quadratic equation? See students, as you see on LHS, this factors are there, and on RHS 0 is there. Okay. So, now we have to find out such roots of the equation. So, when you multiply A by B and you have to get 0, can anyone tell me what should be the condition? What should be the value of either A or B if I want on this side 0? If suppose the value of B is 3, then what should be the value of A? So, I should get here 0. Yes, you should multiply this by 0. Okay, so you will get here 0. Now, suppose I will interchange it. Suppose the value of A is minus 7. So, what should be the value of B? So, I should get here 0.
0.
Yes, it should be multiplied by 0. So, you will get here 0. So, that means we can say that x minus 3 is equal to 0 or x minus 4 is equal to 0. So, what will be the value of x here? It will be 3 or it will be x is equal to 4. So, here we have found out the roots of this quadratic equation. Now, let us see how to satisfy the equation. Now, as you have got the value of x as 3 or x is equal to 4. Okay. So, how to satisfy this equation? Our equation was x square plus 7x plus 12 is equal to 0. So, on RHS 0 is there. So, we have to satisfy it. So, how we can get it? So, how can you multiply it? Yes, students? Yes, can anyone tell me? Yes, if your addition is there, then we will get the minus 3. If your minus is there, so here we will get the plus. Okay. So, it can be written as the value of 3x is minus 3 square plus 7 multiplied by minus 3 plus 12 is equal to 0. So, 3 square is 9. 7 multiplied by 3 gives you 21 plus 12 is equal to 0. So, it will be 0 only because 9 minus 21 is minus 12, minus 12 plus minus 12 gives you 0. So, in this way we can satisfy the equations. Okay. Now, let us see one activity based on it. Now, how we can solve this quadratic equation with the help of the activity? So, for that students, what you have to do first is first you have to make a card which should be in the shape of square and its side should be 1 unit. This also should be 1 unit. Then next you have to make another card which should be in the shape of rectangle and its breadth should be 1 and its length should be x. Just give me a minute, children. Okay, so like in this way you have to make the cards. Now we have been given an example. Now we have been given an example, x square plus 5x plus 6. Okay. Now how you can represent this quadratic equation in this form? So for that what you have to do, student, is, since we have taken one square shaped card whose length is x, and as we know x into x is x square. Then another card we have made which is of rectangle shape and its breadth is 1 and length is x. Then another card we have made, that is a small square shape and its length is also 1. So what will be the area of the first square when x multiplied by x is x square, when x multiplied by 1 is x, and when 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. Now how to solve this quadratic equation? As I had already told you, you have to find out such factors of 6 whose addition or subtraction should be 5x. So, and it is plus 5. So 2 multiplied by 3. Okay. But now how? So for that, what we'll need, we can write this as 2x plus 3x plus 6. So for doing this activity, students, we'll first require one x square. Okay. So this x square can be written like this or drawn like this. Okay. So this is your x square. Now you require how many x's? That is 5 x's. So we'll take the 2x. So first you have to rearrange this 2x here. Okay. Then the remaining 3 x's here. And how many unit cards you require? It is 6. So it can be arranged like this. So now if you see, students, this is your x, this is your 1, again this is your x, and which shape it is forming? It is forming rectangle shape. So we know what is the formula to take out the area of rectangle, that is length into breadth. Now if you see here, this is x square, this is x, okay, and then this is also how many x's? 2 x's are there, but if we take the breadth, and as I told you earlier, breadth is how much? 1. So it can be written as x plus 2. This can be written as x plus 2. Now if you see here, this is your x, and again this is also 1, 1 and 1. So 1 plus is 1, 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. So it will give you 3. So this is your length, that is x plus 3, and this is your breadth, that is x plus 2. So I'll just form this in front of you right now. See, this is your x square card. Okay. Then, as I told you earlier, we have to arrange here 2 x's. Okay. Then here we have to arrange 3 x's, and if you see 6 unit cards, that is 1, 1 and 1. So, we have solved this quadratic equation on board also. We have solved this quadratic equation in our presentation also, and here also physically we have solved our quadratic equation. So, in this way you can solve your quadratic equation with the help of an activity. Okay, so I hope you have understood, students, and one example I am going to give you for homework, that is x square plus 4x plus 4. So, this quadratic equation you have to solve in this form. Okay, so thank you so much, students.